Bob Arum and Frank Warren expose Eddie Hearn's clout chasing. Says there has been no talks for Tyson Fury to face Anthony Joshua. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It is Fight Night UFC 248. Adesanya defending his title against Yoel Romero, always game challenger. And I'm looking forward to that fight. If you click the link on the description of any of my videos, it definitely helps the channel grow. And you can get ESPN Plus or ESPN Plus, just get the pay-per-view or bundle it with Hulu and Disney Plus, all three apps, $12.99 a month. Let's get it. Now, I guess I got it right yet again. Ego Stradamus strikes again. Bob Arum and Frank Warren both did interviews where they have denounced, all this chatter from Eddie Hearn regarding a fight with Fury. Bob Arum says to the Times, and I quote, "Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua is never going to happen. PULEV is going to knock out Anthony Joshua, so why would I talk to Eddie Hearn, who I love dearly, about Joshua Fury fight? I think PULEV wins, and then I negotiate with myself to do a PULEV Fury fight. Let's make this crystal clear. I am the co-promoter of Tyson Fury, and the other co-promoter is Frank Warren. I would not talk to Eddie Hearn about a fight without Frank's participation. Frank's never been able to talk with Eddie. Joshua was the man on top, and then he got knocked out by Andy Ruiz, who fought almost all of his fights with us, so we know how good and not so good he is. The fact that Joshua got knocked out should have sounded alarm bells. The fight he had to regain his belts, I discount completely, because Andy could not control himself, didn't train for the fight, and came in obese. Even then, Joshua did not engage with him. He outboxed him. PULEV is yards and yards better than Andy Ruiz. And I'm not going to read Frank Warren's quote verbatim, but he basically said they have not staged or conducted any talks. So you have basically the UK and USA promoters of Tyson Fury, newly crowned WBC champion, and they're both saying that Eddie Hearn, they're not talking to him about making a Joshua fight. Listen, guys, this is exactly what I've expressed. All this clout chasing that we're seeing primarily from DAZN, it's just, it looks crazy to me. It really does. It looks crazy because Eddie Hearn, Joshua, they've entertained a Fury fight, said, where they want to stage it in the UK versus Saudi Arabia, the different locations, the different purses, and they're almost making all these plans about, how they would conduct and go about fighting Fury, purse splits. They're talking about all this stuff publicly. And then you have the actual promoters of the fighter who are telling you the total opposite. So, like I've been saying, more clout chasing from Eddie Hearn. Tyson Fury, his name, he beat Wilder, and his name was ringing bells. As a result, they try to jump on the bandwagon. I think Joshua also prefers to fight Tyson Fury as opposed to Deontay Wilder. So now all of a sudden, they're like wanting to make the fight, and they're saying they want undisputed, this, that, and the third. And it just wasn't realistic. We knew Deontay Wilder had a trilogy rematch clause that he could trigger, which from all of the reports he is doing. And we knew this was a possibility. We knew a trilogy was most likely on the cards, and there was so much money at the table. The story has, only grown with Tyson Fury Glovegate and how Wilder looked and the costume excuse and stuff like that. And, the trilogy is now, if it happens, going to be bigger. And until otherwise proven, it looks like this is going to happen. Wilder versus Fury versus Wilder 3, for that WBC belt. So to just proves what I've been telling you guys, really a bad look for Team Joshua and Eddie Hearn. They really, aren't needed right now. Joshua is he is at the least relevancy that since he's been, Joshua, since we've known about him. People aren't really checking for. There's better fights, Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois. To me, is a more intriguing fight. It's a fight as a heavyweight fight that I'm more looking forward to seeing, as opposed to Joshua versus KUBRAT PULEV. And just the way Joshua fought, like Bob Arum is saying, the way Joshua fought, and he fought skittish and didn't want to engage, it just didn't leave much excitement in Joshua's. He doesn't have a lot of momentum between losing to Ruiz and the performance he gave to get Ruiz, because like he was billed this whole time coming up as a knockout artist and a powerhouse, and he looks the part and all that. So you see a performance like he had for Ruiz, yeah, it was enough to get his belts back, but it didn't really send shockwaves through the heavyweight division or anything. It definitely wasn't scintillating. And then the opponent choice is a guy you were supposed to fight 2 years ago that pulled out last minute and hasn't been in a relevant fight probably since Klitschko. So it's just not really big. Now, as far as Bob Arum saying that KUBRAT PULEV is so much greater than Andy Ruiz, I don't know. I would rate Andy Ruiz higher, most likely. I think he can overall do more. You look at KUBRAT PULEV's last fight, he fought Rydell Booker. He didn't look great in that fight. He really didn't. So I don't know. I don't know that Andy Ruiz would struggle with Rydell Booker or, not look good versus a guy like Rydell Booker. But listen, PULEV has a chance versus Joshua because he has some pop. And Joshua, like, again, I'm not really sold his performance. I think Joshua doesn't have currently, he doesn't really have an identity as a fighter. Again, he came up through the rankings as a knockout artist. Now Joshua lost weight for the Andy Ruiz rematch, was willing to do whatever to try to get his belts back. And he did that. But in the performance, to me, it just looked subpar. It didn't look like the typical Anthony Joshua we've seen through the rest of his career. So he's in a kind of in a crossroads. Where's his weight going to be? Like, we've seen him bulked out and muscular, looking like Action Jackson, and, pushing mid 250s, almost 260 pounds. Now he's trying to come in looking lean. He fought as like the knockout artist. We all thought, that was his MO, and then one loss and struggling with the exchanges. Now he doesn't want to exchange, and he was just on the move the whole time, and he doesn't look proficient at that style. I don't think that's naturally who he is. So, I wouldn't count anybody out versus Joshua. Not anybody, like an average person, but I'm saying like KUBRAT PULEV. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a person like that could beat him and or make him look bad, because I think that aura has been removed from Joshua a bit. So that's my opinion. But needless to say, the clout chasing is getting pretty deep over on DAZN. Mentioning different people's names, knowing the fight can't or won't happen with no negotiations. And that's kind of what it's coming to in the game. We're getting a lot of he said, she said, less action. Fights that are going to come out, people are rather talk about them than go to the negotiating table and figure out what it takes to make these fights and announce it once it's already done. People want to talk about it beforehand, and I don't think that's the ticket. I think fans are growing tired of that. If you could make Tyson Fury versus Joshua, just show us. There's nothing to even talk about. Just if Eddie Hearn can make it and put in Saudi Arabia, even though Tyson Fury would probably be the A side, these types of things, just show us the end result. You don't really have to broadcast the steps. Let me know what you guys think. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.